I know you see the title, so let's get straight to it. I can't believe this Joe Budden and Adam22 is still going on. Adam went on Joe Budden podcast about a year and a half ago, and they still taking shots at each other. Just last week, I heard Joe saying that No Jumper is the worst platform ever in all categories. Just yesterday, Adam was dissing Joe Budden again.
Pop AF.
See, if I called Joe right now, he wouldn't agree with none of this shit you're talking about.
Who's Joe?
Joe.
Joe
Your
Blow?
nemesis.
Oh.
Joe Budden. Put some respect on his name.
Why?
That's my...
The only thing that really irritates me is how people keep remixing and respinning the story. Adam act like he doesn't understand why Joe's so mad at him. If you ask Adam, the reason Joe hates him is because they tried to ambush him and he was able to defeat them.
I really respected Joe Budden, and he's like a huge inspiration for me content-wise, and then the way he did me dirty in that situation, just because he was salty because I fucking massacred him on his own podcast.
Damn.
That hurt.
And when Adam did leave that platform, he was parading it around as if he just spanked in there, which he kind of did.
About a year...
And I had to press play.
Year and a half ago, I went to Joe's podcast and did his podcast. And then I think that he had a little bit of a grudge against me after the fact because of the fact that I was sort of flaunting what I perceived as a W in our debate.
And from that point on, every chance Adam got to tell everybody about his victory in front of a camera, he did. I agree that's probably annoying, but that's not the real reason why Joe's mad. Now, there were a few topics where Adam really put belt to ass on them. One of them being Joe and the crew, they're mad because Adam uses flashbacks when people die to draw attention to his page. Joe thinks that there's a lack of integrity in that type of media to monetize off somebody dying.
My opinion is, like Ish said, before family members and loved ones get to put their loved one in the ground or have the important conversations with everybody in the family that loved this man, now every time we look at our phone, we have to see the likes of you, the likes of Vlad, the that partake in that nasty side of the business, which is where it's only about metrics and monetization, and your moral compass is totally eliminated from this. That's what makes this nasty.
Are you ready?
I ain't gonna lie though, this boy Adam, he definitely spanked him on this one, because what he said was, if it's so disrespectful for me to put a flashback of an interview that I've already created, why is it okay when Pop Smoke dies, the radio station will spin his record over and over and over again in memorial of him? And to that, Adam's actually right. Adam smoked that shit.
When Pop Smoke died, what did the radio stations do?
I have no idea.
They played his music.
That
nonstop.
make it right. I don't listen to
Why
the
not?
radio.
He died. We got to celebrate this motherfucker. Listen to the music that we all love that he made while he was alive. Playing his music is a celebration of his life.
I'm gonna tell you why that's
Watching
different.
a Kevin Samuels interview is a celebration of who this man was.
But that's not why Joe's mad. If you ask Adam, the reason why Joe's mad is because when everybody left his platform and everything was in turmoil, Adam reached out to everybody who had some bad shit to say about Joe, and he interviewed him.
He also may have been annoyed by the fact that I had Rory and Maul, his top ops, on the podcast.
Now, that part is true, because Adam had Rory and Maul, he had Bridget, he had Mandy, and he even had Marissa, so he did get in the mud with that one. And while he was interviewing these people, he also had this underlying insinuation that maybe Joe Budden just isn't a good boss. Maybe he's not fit to run a platform like that. But that's not why Joe's mad. Adam would also get with Vlad, and they would go back and forth, and they would just come to terms that Joe just doesn't like white people in hip-hop, which may be a little true.
You did this. Vlad did this. Like, y'all little... No, not a lot of people.
Really?
Not, and that's my point.
I just think it's normal.
I know. But not a lot of people did this.
Really?
It's only you and your little head white boy compadre that did this.
But that's not why Joe's mad. See, Adam is willfully disregarding the reason why he's mad. It's way bigger than all this superficial shit. The real reason why Joe is mad is because No Jumper made a post about Joe Budden and some old abuse claims, and instead of actually doing research and find out that there's no paperwork, nothing, no documentation saying that Joe actually did these things, instead of actually calling Joe, because they claim to be friends or at least colleagues in the business, Adam went and posted it and had no disregard for it. And even when they talked on the phone, Adam still seemed to disregard his honest feelings. And at that time, Joe was already going through a smear campaign, so the last thing he needed was somebody that he once called friend and tried to do business with. The last thing he needs is for that person to go on this massive platform and post some old abuse claims. If you pay attention, that's the same problem that Joe had with Charlemagne. It's like, you say we friends, we do business together, but any chance you get to interview an ex of mine and they get to kick my back in without me being able to defend myself, you take it.
Let's take it off him for a minute. Okay. Tell Ish about mine and your last conversation via text.
Okay, and this was something that caused us to do quite a bit of self-reflection amongst me and the news team. Basically, somebody on the news team had posted something about one of Joe's exes who had sort of taken some old claims of abuse and brought them back to the surface. You hit me up, you informed me that this is the same exact shit that they've been saying forever. This is not new. I felt like that was a really good argument, that if this is old shit and it's just being regurgitated without cause, then that is a very good point. And so we ended up having conversations about it afterwards. I ultimately ended up regretting it, but at the same time feeling like this is a difficult position for me to be in, to tell, you know, my mostly female social media staff.
It's not when you were human.
Okay.
It's not a difficult spot to be in at all when there's humanness involved in this. In the clip, no jumper. Joe Budden X says blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing that's been there for 10 years. Him and I know each other. This ain't Kevin Samuels. We have spoke. He, quote unquote, looks up to me. We've almost done business. I text him and say, yo, this is disgusting. Adam, this is disgusting. He says, news team posted it. Why is it disgusting? Already we pushing this off on our employees.
No.
If I'm Adam,
everybody in hip-hop has covered this story about you at some point, right?
True.
Has everybody in hip-hop...
Mostly 10 years ago.
Has everybody in hip-hop covered your stories?
Some.
No,
Has everybody in hip-hop covered your stories?
I think when I had my story, though, I was a much smaller personality, so it was covered by much less
now
people.
that you are bigger,
right,
some of those nasty, we'll call false allegations, I don't know enough about them, but they should have been, they would be detrimental if true. There's nobody that are reposting some of those stories of the things that women said that you did to them, right? Today in 2020. Can you answer my very direct question?
Well, no, I don't see a lot of that.
If we don't.
And why this bothers me even more so in this example is because you and I have had private conversations and confidence.
I would be tight
about some of them nasty charges that was coming your way.
I never had a charge. Accusation. Anonymous accusation.
I never had a allegation.
Right.
Yeah.
I never had an allegation.
I would feel.
And we had moments where you let me know, hey, someone's lying on me and it's affecting my business.
True.
I would think that if there was anybody in the world that would do a little better with that, it would be you. But you keep checking your humanness at the door, and I'm trying to find out why.
That's where the real problem lies. Now, Adam can skirt around because that's what he likes to do. He likes to throw rocks and hide his hands. He likes to make it about the small, little, superficial shit instead of going head on and admitting that, okay, I was kind of foul in the way I handled that. Because even when they confronted him and tried to ambush him on the podcast, he still tried to wiggle. He eventually was beaten to submission, but it still wasn't enough because he didn't seem like he was actually sorry about it. He seemed a little condescending, as if it's all about money, it's all about journalism, it's all about monetizing. It has nothing to do with our friendship at all. I'm just here to get paid. It goes back to everything I've said before about Adam not having a soul, but what's new here? Now, since that day, Adam has been attacking Ish on the podcast because Ish was very passionate in his argument. Adam has been attacking Joe, and anytime he gets a chance to take a slide at them, he does. So now let's get to why Adam's really mad. Adam's mad simply because when them tables turn, and they got four corners, so they do turn, Joe treated him exactly how Adam treated Joe when shit was falling down. When all of No Jumpers hosts were leaving, Joe said, hey, AD, big dog, hey, come holler at me. And he invited him, and they had an interview on camera about the situation.
Hey, D, come on, let's do it. Let's get in your business. Come on, I need to see the accountant. Clap it up. Y'all know what the time it is.
When Adam took that hit and started doing a bunch of random shit, like with his wife or whatever, to build back steam, Joe was constantly questioning his business acumen, saying that this is a disaster, people getting beat up, you doing anything for likes and clicks, you gonna get these people killed. Joe attacked his business acumen the same way Adam attacked him as a boss.
Hey, Ish, make your way to the top to center stage. Take the podium, yo. They was really on your ass last time we had Adam over here. They was on all of us. I made him apologize when I spoke to him.
Every time some new news came out about No Jumper falling by the wayside or getting fucked up or something bad happening, Joe had a parade.
The internet don't ever come back around and say, hey, y'all was right. I was tripping with that one. Never. Man. So
long. T-Pain should have did this.
yeah. I got to start it over.
Bro, you can't scratch.
I'm not trying to scratch, but he lost a bunch of shows, so I got to play it a bunch of times. Hey!
Joe threw a party. He played Another One Bites the Dust. He was having a ball seeing No Jumper crash because that's what Adam did. Last but not least, once everything was said and done, Joe interviewed Adam one last time on the AMP app. I guess they were trying to work a deal where Adam could get in on that too. And Joe grilled Adam, not only on the business, but he grilled him on the assault cases that Adam had. So you got to understand, at this same time when everything's falling apart, Adam gets hit with an old assault case. So I guess Adam was 22, this girl was 16. They ended up meeting in like a chat room or something. They were talking, and then at a certain point he finds out she's 16. He says he stopped all communication with her. But 3 years later, he's 25, she's 19. He links up with her and he had sex with her and stayed at her house with her mother. Some people look at that and they say that's nasty because it looks like you've been grooming her. Now, to our knowledge, Adam says he didn't talk to her in that whole 3-year span. They ended up reconnecting 3 years later on Facebook, just on some random shit. But the people in the world don't really believe that. Then to add insult to injury, years later, she says that he R-worded her.
Well, the first and most important thing I'd like to say is that the girl in question, I didn't even meet until she was 19. And I think this is a very important detail that I just want to really put out there. So, you gotta let me flesh this out a little bit.
Okay, so let's put everything in perspective. At the time, your company's falling apart. Your co-hosts are leaving and they're slandering you every chance they get. They're going on other podcasts to slander you. And at the same time, you're trying to plan your wedding. The last thing you need is an old abuse claim to come up and the R word to come up. And to make things even worse, some of those allegations pop up at your front door in your own building. So let's give a little backstory. There's these guys, they're known as the Perv Busters. They're almost like a Chris Hansen, but on the street type deal. They catch pervs on Instagram and they expose them. So these guys came in for an interview. Poetic Flacco was asked a question, and basically they went out of their way to expose Adam for what he did with an underage girl, or what they perceived that he did.
Can somebody be an ex-pedophile?
Damn, that's tough.
Yeah.
Hair, right? So look, hair, right? So technically, right, somebody like can like wake up and say that they're no longer attracted to kids, right? So like,
But what if they already did it? If they already did something to a child, regardless if the child consented or not, you was attracted to a young child, can you be an ex-pedophile?
Is no forgiveness for that? No.
So wait, no. So what's up with these allegations of Adam fucking with a 16-year-old?
At this moment, everything that could go wrong absolutely did go wrong. And in the corner, you could see Joe rubbing his hands like Birdman because he was salivating at the thought that everything that he tried to tell Adam to have some sensitivity toward was coming back to bite him in the ass. Joe made Adam apologize for all the shit, like live, on that same interview that I was speaking of, the second interview. He made him apologize for everything that he ever did to Joe.
I will now allow you the floor, just in case you would like to apologize to Joe Budden for any of the network digs and jabs that you were taking over the years when I was losing all of my people and you were recruiting more and more. Joe, I totally empathize with your position, and maybe I should have called and checked on you rather than interview anybody that had any dealings or interactions with you that had anything negative to say about you.
Okay, Joe, I apologize.
And that, and only that, is the real reason why Adam's mad. See, he can try to divert and change the narrative, but I remember it. I watch all this shit. That's where everything really went downhill, and that's why he's really upset with Joe. And any chance he gets to slander him, he will. See, the way Adam looks at it is, well, when my castle was crumbling, it would have been nice to have a friend in Joe to console me, but instead, Joe monetized and embarrassed me even further in an interview, and then went on a parade and showed his ass basically at my expense, which is exactly what Joe Budden was trying to tell him in the initial interview.
You know what bothered me about looking at that video?
What?
Is that you said to the Perv Buster people, you are spreading lies and you should do some research, or do you do any research? Something to that effect. Do you remember saying that?
Yeah, it's very, very true.
That was the very same sentiment that I was expressing to you when I text you about a story that someone from your company was running about me that was false, and a little bit of research would have showed how false it was. And what you said to me in a very braggadocious, I don't give a type of manner was, I need to see something pretty significant for me to take the story down. And that be my problem with you content people. Y'all dish it in a way that y'all don't take it.
Got him. We got him.
Joe took every chance to serve him up in his face in that last interview. But what do I know? I'm just an everyday nobody. Tell me what you think in the comments, like and subscribe. And if you do like this content, check out these other videos. I got this video over here. I mean, I know it's a little obscure if you're not super into the no jumper world, but it's Lush versus Almighty. It's hilarious. I got this over here with Vlad and Drake. I got this over here with Joe versus Logic. Look, I got an assortment of shit, and I'm going to keep putting it out. But like and subscribe. Keep running them numbers up. Let's get to it. I'm out.